낮에는 따사로운 인간적인 여자 커피 한 잔에 여유를 아는 품격 있는 여자 밤이 오면 심장이 뜨거워지는 여자 그런 반전 있는 여자.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Twin Chickens podcast. Today we got me, we got Evan, and we have Luke, DLX.
Hey, what's up? Yeah.
Oh my God, I am so excited. I've been trying to basically reach out and talk to you, which we did a couple of weeks ago, and just to set this up has been just a journey in and of itself. But when Yoshi told me, Yoshi, obviously my bass player for my band, when he told me that he knows. He introduced me to a bunch of bands. He listened to a lot of psychedelic stuff, and one of the bands that he listened to was John Mouse. And during the music video I think it was like a basement show, there you see Luke playing on a keyboard, and I don't know if it's that exact one that you have in the background there, but that was really dope.
No, it's not this one.
Yeah, it was really cool, just like knowing that someone from Minnesota, is out living their dream. And to me, I think following your passions and living your dream is one of the biggest things that you could ever accomplish in life, and that's currently where I'm at, the trajectory I'm getting. But and also, as well as Evan, he's trying to transition into just being a full-time piano player. But for you, Luke, let's talk about you. I want to know everything. Let's start for where you were born, social security number, all the good stuff.
Oh yeah. Mother's maiden name, where my dad went to elementary school.
Yeah, exactly.
Just in case, I know a lot of bots might tune in.
Oh, and the name of the street that you grew up on.
Yeah.
Yeah, there'll be the elementary school too. Yeah. So I am from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Now I'm nervous about saying what hospital I was in. I'm from Minneapolis. And not that I have much money to steal. Like a bot, they could hack me, and then they just get a bunch of student loan debt.
Yep.
And
us as well.
We're gonna have fun with that. So I'm from Minneapolis. What was the next question? My mother's maiden name.
Yes, and of course, what do you do in life? I want to know the history of Luke. How did you get to be here?
Yeah. So, I am keyboardist, pianist, one would say, producer and accompanist and teacher. So that's what I've been up to these days. A lot of teaching, a lot of producing. Not so many gigs during the whole COVID-19 thing.
Right.
But I have my first gig back on Halloween here, so I'm excited for that.
Oh heck yeah! What are you doing with the band setting? Are you doing your own thing? What do you got going on?
I am playing with I guess we're a duo now called Maraschino, which is indie pop. And
that sounds awesome.
We're playing here in LA on Sunday.
Very nice.
I don't know when. The Sunday, Halloween of 2021, to whoever's listening to this.
I wish we could pop out for a second. It'd be great to see you play live. I've heard nothing but great things from Yoshi, but
hey, you guys should just fly to LA.
Yeah. You want to? We got nothing going on.
So what got you into music? What was the first few things, or what were you originally playing keyboard at a young age, or what kind of were the first steps?
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, I guess at a young age. I don't know. I think my parents, we would go to church and they'd be singing and stuff, and I always was fascinated by that. So I always, and then singing with my parents, and they would have music on and all that, that at a super young age, and I just was very fascinated by it. And then they got a piano at some point when I was young still. Right. I was I gravitated towards it. I wanted to mess around with it, just start playing and stuff. And then so then I got lessons starting when I was 5 or 6, and that was cool. I kind of still, in the context of those young lessons, just wanted to do my own thing and didn't really want to do the program, like the books, practicing,
Yeah.
recite all
Relatable.
Yeah.
stuff.
That's where Evan's at right now as well. Like that's where he used to be.
Absolutely.
For yourself, yeah.
Yeah. And so I found like some friction with just like the typical piano trajectory, and eventually like my teacher was like, yeah, he's not really doing anything that I'm telling him to do. And my parents took me out of that.
Yeah.
And then I was kind of just like on my own, bouncing back and forth between stuff, but I stayed glued to the idea of doing music. And yeah, so it was like all through middle school and high school I kept kind of trying to do that in whatever capacity that was. And yeah, so I don't know, I was in some bands, and I like played at church and at school as much as I could. And then then I took some jazz lessons too at that age, or like I started to, and yeah, that was my childhood.
Fantastic.
So then did you go to college at all, or what was your schooling process?
So I went to St. Thomas in St. Paul.
Oh, yes.
Which, it's a not necessarily known for music
Mhm.
kind of school. But I found like just having pretty much the music department was small and like a close-knit community and stuff, and that was fun. And I got playing and in with some good players too, and my friend NJ, me and him met there, and we've been doing music together ever since, doing kind of like left of center R&B stuff. And we actually just we're getting the record mixed, but we're about to like put out his new single here like next week.
Oh, you got to drop us a link for that as well.
Yeah. So on November 3rd, I'll send you the Spotify pre-save. But yeah.
Yes, please.
His new single, Bag, is coming out. And so we've been working together for now, probably 9 years. Not quite 10, but
Very cool.
Yeah.
so
It's a very long time.
yeah. And some other good friends from there too, like Neej, and Nick Keaton, who he's like my jazz friend. Like,
Oh, yeah.
get together with him on jazz, and he does jazz at Ice House sometimes. He's been doing stuff there
Yeah.
since JT Bates left. But yeah, so that's what college was like. Any questions so far?
I guess I'm curious, like, what motivated you? Did you drop out at all, or did you go through with finishing your program, and then how did that ensue?
Well, so that's an interesting story there.
Ah.
Sort of interesting. I guess it's interesting if you're interested in this. So I definitely was very frazzled after high school. Like I knew I wanted to do music. I didn't have a crucial component of like having a mentor who could really like be like, these are the steps you have to take. This is what you need to know. I was kind of missing that, and I just kind of scattershot applied to schools. St. Thomas gave me a scholarship, so I went there.
Right.
And like I said, I liked it a lot. I don't think I was like ready for what you need to have together, like to focus during college and stuff. Which I also think I'm like I know like maybe I was like too one side of this spectrum, but I'm just like 18-year-olds in general are not getting the most out of their college courses.
Definitely.
Because it's like not the age where you're like unless like you're like just doing the conventional route and you're getting your computer science certificate or whatever, and you're just like, I know I'm gonna get the job, I'm gonna make money. It's just like there's so much going on campus, and I tried to do too much stuff, and I kind of experienced burnout kind of like freshman year, sophomore year, it was okay. But then like getting into junior year, I got really burnt out and I got sick and had to like drop classes, and that put me behind. And then so basically I was in this kind of limbo there. So I wrapped it up, like the lion's share of my coursework in 4 years. But then I was kind of just in this limbo of having a couple credits outstanding, like really seriously, like just a recital and like a community service thing, and then like an internship, like just like little stuff. But loans came due. I had to just make money, and that kind of just got me working. Worked at Domino's Northeast with Yoshi actually for a little bit. And Yoshi, who I don't know if the audience knows, but no, you just introduced him. It's bass player, and he set up all the mics or something too beforehand. I don't know what he was really doing, but
It's helped me not go too crazy, because I was gonna throw a fit if I couldn't figure out anything. I wanted this to work out, and I'm still crossing my fingers.
I thought I would just pick up some delivery shifts, like I'll make some money. While I was still finishing the degree and playing in groups and stuff. But like as it goes, work is very exhausting, and it kind of takes all your energy out.
Yes.
That like that kind of was like I was in kind of a limbo for a bit. But I even though I was burning the candle at both ends, I was still able to like keep playing. But what I didn't keep doing was trying to finish the coursework. So I like picked like I'm gonna work and I'm gonna gig and I'm gonna work on music, but like doing an internship fell by the wayside. My recital I did in a reasonable amount of time after the 4 years were up. But in any case, so I was in this position, and I like didn't have necessarily a plan to get out besides just I'm gonna keep doing what I've been doing. And so then I was playing with NJ around. I had this other band in their bedrooms for a bit there. So I was doing all that, and this is like 2014, 2016, 2017. But then I get a call one middle of the afternoon, because I was working nights, so I would sleep all day. So I was woken up by this phone call at like 1 p.m. From my friend, and it was all like, no, you have to pick up like, this guy, John Mouse, like he wants a keyboard.
John Mouse.
Soda, like, and like I told him, like your name, and so I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. And so like I had no idea who John Mouse was at this point. Like I can't pretend like I'm cool and stuff, and like I knew this guy. I didn't. Like it wasn't really like I'm like indie adjacent, but like I'm still like a jazz guy, like a music school guy, kind of like, and then Minneapolis has got like its like punk and hip hop scenes, and I was kind of in those too. That's kind of different than what's going on with like indie synth pop and stuff like that. Like there's bands like that, and I was trying to go for that myself, but the indie scene, it's like people would be massive and never heard of them. Like, that's just in general. But so, anyways, like so I like looked up John's music and listened to it. I was like, oh, cool. Like, I can do this. Anyways, he was like, I got a call with him while I was working at Domino's. Don't tell Domino's this, but I just like did this interview while I was driving. And he was like, I'm looking for a keyboardist. Can you do this or that? And I'm like, I can do all that. And then, so then he hired me, and I went on tour. And we can talk more about that, but that's a whole other bunch of work.
That's super cool. So then did you pretty much go full-time music just after going on tour with John Mouse?
Yeah, pretty much. There's been things that have happened, and Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, for at least like he hired me on, and so I was like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna join this band, I'm gonna go on tour. That's tight. That is superlative. That is exactly kind of what I want, right? I would have probably more wanted like, oh, my own band. No, I'm gonna write my own music and
Right.
people are gonna like it and stuff. As I don't remember what. I think it was like Conan who said it or something, but he said he's like, look at all, like, he's like, the thing about being a musician is brutal because it's like he has all these musicians on his show all the time. And it's like, yeah, like, or he has his band. He's like, yeah, they're all making it in a certain sense, but they're not like, they all wanted to individually be like Bruce Springsteen, not
Yeah.
the side man, at least in like the pop lane, which is an exaggeration. Being a sideman, I've come to really enjoy it.
Mhm.
Though I also do like writing songs. So anyways, yeah, at that point, what happened is that he hired me. His little brother was playing bass, Joe, and then another guy from his hometown, Jonathan,
Mhm.
was playing drums. And so he hired us, and he had a label advance to get ready for the tour. So we went down to Austin, Minnesota, where he's from, and we had a couple months there to prepare for a tour. And so we did that, and we got paid a stipend for that time.
Mhm.
And then we went on the road, and then we got per show, we got some percent of it, and so yeah, like during tour, yeah, full time, more than full time. I mean, that's like a all time job, full time being 40 hours. This is like
Right.
24/7 when you're on the road. You're working pretty much.
Right.
You're not at home. Like you're
Mhm.
not. Yeah, like you get like, and so yeah. Yeah, so that happened. Any questions so far?
I suppose, did you continue to go on tour, or were you, did you find your way back here to Minnesota? What was your next steps after that? Did you find just a calling to go to California? What was your inspiration to go there?
Same to me.
Oh yeah, so I'm sorry to well, I don't know. So like so the tour actually ended in a really tragic way
Mhm.
because John's brother Joe passed away while we were like in Lafayette.
Yeah.
And so that was like, oh, can I swear on this?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So that was fucked up.
Yeah.
That was just really horrendous and terrible. And so after that, there wasn't really any particular conversation, but it was just kind of a tacit kind of acknowledgement that Joe was kind of the one who made it all work.
Mhm.
And without him being there, there wasn't going to be a band after that point. Like,
Really?
John finished up the tour solo, but yeah. So like then at that point, my girlfriend had just moved to Los Angeles. I was like, yeah, I might as well try moving to Los Angeles because like that's where I could get similar work.
Right.
Because yeah, like that's where people are building bands and going on the road. So I came out here and yeah, I have to say I was rather shell shocked after all that. So for the first couple months, I didn't really get a whole lot done.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of was adjusting to the new location, all that. Got in with Maraschino shortly after I got out here because we had played with her on tour and stuff, and so she like hired me and Jonathan, and Jonathan's no longer with the band, but so we were gigging out here for a while. I went on a tour with them in 2019, Um, and but other than that, I've had to work some just like jobs and stuff. Like,
Just to get by, yeah.
What do you do for work?
I kinda
Just
think
like
that
odd
if I had
jobs?
stayed in Minnesota, I would have been able to bridge it with more gigging.
Yeah.
But as it is, I made a leap, and I had to just like have some short cash flow months. But then COVID, kind of the silver lining for me is like it kind of was I got laid off from my job. Nice.
What did you do?
So I got the opportunity to just like take a breather, like figure my shit out, start teaching, and so I've been doing that ever since. And now gigs are gonna return. Also, I've been working on like records. I've been working on the NJ record and the Maraschino record. And Maraschino record, we're not done yet, but it'll be soon.
Yeah. I'm super excited. What were you doing for work right now then? Like besides teaching piano?
Right now I'm just teaching.
Just teaching.
Right now,
Okay.
just teaching. Yeah.
And before,
So, if anyone wants
mhm.
piano lessons, hit me up.
Yeah, and you do them over Skype, or not over Skype, but over Discord, kind of similar to this?
I've got them on, like Zoom. I can do them over Discord, whatever works. If it's kids, it's Zoom, but with grown-ups, it's whatever's Discord.
Heck yeah.
I'm curious, what is some of your musical and piano inspirations? Like, what has driven you to learn and grow the most? Maybe what kind of artists or things that you found fascinating, maybe of music theory?
Yeah, all right. So this is broad. I am fairly omnivorous when it comes to music. But what I enjoy doing, which kind of informs my taste as well, is improvising. So I am into jazz, like a ton. I also do really like just good pop songwriting. And so but I also get bored easily. So if it's too normal flavored, I might not be that into it. I like things to be a little bit weird, but not. I'm not like I was operating in in a world there with John where it's like everything has to be the most weird.
Yeah.
But I find that it's you can't just try to be totally out there. Out there-ness happens if you're being honest, but
right.
So I'd say we're just talking piano players. I don't know.
Were there any old artists, maybe like Oscar Peterson or maybe some more recent people?
I think that my tastes in jazz are more 50s, 60s.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
very cool.
I do my McCoy Tyner, Herbie Hancock.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yes. Okay. Very nice.
Bill Evans too. I just don't want to be Bill Evans is kind of in the jazz pantheon, kind of like Eminem. I feel like it's white dudes will be like, "Who's your favorite pianist?" And I'll be like, "Oh, Bill Evans." It's kind of like, don't answer that too quick. I saw someone joking about that.
That's one.
Yeah.
About Eminem just being like, white dudes will answer too quick that their favorite rapper's Eminem.
Yes. No, that's pretty awesome. For me, I'm kind of almost on the same boat as you, where I've been trying to start music, and I've been stuck with music for the last 10 years. And like I was telling my buddy here, I've been trying to start a band. I had many bands before, but this is now, I feel like I started a band where I can try to move forward now. And there was a time where we were striving, we were ready to go and do bigger steps, after playing a big show. But, everyone was just like, hey, we want to do something else now. And it's like, we just finally, we got our footing now. We can actually go forward. And I was stuck for 10 years without a drummer, without a bassist, without anything. And I got so fed up with it. I was producing my own music at the time. I have everything out everywhere. So like I was still keeping active, but I had such an anger that I couldn't pursue music. And I didn't know anybody in Minnesota. This is why it's so funny that, like, Yoshi mentioned that you came from Minnesota, and so did John Mouse. And I'm like, where were these guys? Like, I wish I was in your sphere. This is like, I'm so like honored to meet you and to talk to you, because like I just didn't get that.
Minnesota, I mean, it's got a lively scene. Like it is like a small place in some scales, but like, like in the cities, there's always some shows going on. Like, at every venue, like. What genres are you playing in?
Well, I'm trying to do many things. I'm obviously like, there's like, everyone is like trying to do their own style. But for me, I have three main styles of music that I'm trying to do, like a future, present tense, present past kind of thing. Where like, I'm trying to cross like the Beatles, kind of like later psychedelic kind of sage. I'm trying to do like like a rock and roll indie rock, like the Strokes, which is my favorite band of all time. And then I'm also trying to do what's it called, like New Order, which is like a future pop kind of stuff, disco stuff. I'm pretty much like, those are my main three, but those have been my favorite bands and like my favorite things that like inspired me to make music.
60s, 70s, and 80s.
Exactly, that's my main stuff, and I like making. I just love music, and I love exploring it and actively listening to it, like, and seeing how it influences people. And I've talked to Evan many times, and I've taught him a lot about music theory as well, because like everything that I learned, I want him to learn, so that he could like grow as a player. And because he's a little bit younger than me, and like I want him, everything that I learned, I trust him to like carry that forward, and for us to grow together as artists. Unfortunately, he's not in my band though. Yeah. But that's currently where I'm at. I'm trying to build a band and just start to get everything together, because now, since I have played at venues before, now I'm just trying to get the right people into place, and I'm making music right now and just doing a bunch of stuff. And as for this guy, doing a lot of stuff.
I think that like, as far as like helming a project and being a songwriter, like in that sense, the game is finishing the songs.
Yes.
Like that's before anything else. Like, as long as you're still staying writing, then you're being a songwriter. If you've only written a couple songs and keep trying to make them work, it's like, no, just keep writing.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. Yes. Yeah. I just released my last single just the other week. Yeah.
Branding and stuff like that. Now, this is something where it's like, that's almost like wholly a different pursuit than doing music itself. And back in the day, the musicians would just be musicians, and then the suits would come in and be like, I don't know how to sell this, I don't know.
Right.
Like that Zappa code or whatever. But nowadays, of course, especially even beyond that, of just having like the hip record executives, now we just are like, no, you have to like, every single person, even if you're not a musician, has to like be the branding expert for themselves. Like, we have to all have our personal brands.
Absolutely.
And, I mean, to be honest, like, I get bamboozled by that, but I think that like, that's something that is best just left, like, to come naturally, like what. But it is hard with like the structure and like wanting to like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do that. But like, to use the example of like the Beatles, like, they were all over the place with what they sounded like. Right? Yeah. Like, they started as like a rock band, and like they didn't have a studio, so they sounded like a band, like 2 guitars, 2 singers, but then like they went all over the place. But I don't know if you watched that Paul McCartney and Rick Rubin documentary that came out a bit ago.
The Get Back?
Watch it.
Yeah.
That's the.
I've been meaning to watch that so bad, because that's one of my favorite records is Let It Be from them, and my favorite is Revolver. But yes, in that era, that's kind of where like their last peak of it. I haven't seen it though.
This was it's not the Let It Be. I actually just haven't seen that one. But this is just like, it's just Paul McCartney and Rick Rubin sitting down.
No, I haven't.
They get all the master tapes, and like they go through the solo parts. They like they like are like messing around with the mix and like.
I saw the first episode of that. That was really cool.
Like they edit it so it's like, you know, it's accessible to people who don't know music.
Yeah.
From just like a musician standpoint, it's like just how to make this, you know, like world changing stuff. You know?
Where do I find a link to this? This is awesome.
It's on Hulu.
Okay. Dang, I just canceled my subscription. Oh God.
Well, I think I gave you enough of my personal information. You can guess my password.
Yeah. Thank you.
Also, everyone else is invited.
Yeah.
Just kidding. I don't have a Hulu.
Yeah.
It's mom's account, so.
As we all.
We don't have her information on
Right.
this podcast, but yeah. So, but the main takeaway from that was,
Yes.
For me, was just that Paul McCartney said, that him and John, the Beatles in general,
Yeah.
never didn't finish a song.
Yeah.
They finished every song that they started writing.
Amazing.
It's like, and of course, like, you know, they're going full time, overly full time, all time. You know, like
Right.
once they're in Abbey Road, they're just there every day,
Absolutely.
all day,
Yeah.
for those years. You know, but yeah, just that idea, just like see it through, because you like when it's unfinished, it's always kind of dim if it's going to be good or bad. And imagine it is good. We want to be optimistic, but like you need to finish it. It just needs to be done. And this is me kind of pumping myself up as much as like trying to paraphrase some advice from an actual master.
No, I've heard the same things actually from other people in different mediums. Like it's not about just getting exactly like you said. Like even if you're stuck, you just have to finish it. And it's just pushing through it. There does come a point. The other side of it is, from what I heard as well, is like when you don't know when to finish it. You know, even though you've overworked it like a million times, like, is it done yet?
Yeah.
And then I don't know. Have you overcome that of like your own self judgment of like, is this good enough? Should I even do it? Should I release it?
Well, maybe not overcome it, but so that's a complex question. Let's just talk about just like the creative side of it.
Sure.
And I think what works and what you notice with the artists that do well is that they make decisions quickly and they let that decision reach its conclusion. So what we have nowadays with digital production is we have the possibility to add infinite things, to make infinite changes. There's no like, you know, because when it was tape, they would always have that minute of, they'd have rewinding it, then you have to listen through the playback.
Yeah.
And what that does, you know, like that this gives you a break for your ears. It lets you just kind of reflect on the track and, you know, sit with it. And I think with digital production, we have these pitfalls so that we can just work and work and work and work and work and work and chop at the bit. We don't take breaks, and we don't like, when we exit the session, like, we don't just have an artifact that's there that looks like it's kind of a pain in the ass to get in there and do stuff. We can just open it up again and start tinkering. So it's more crucial than ever to really have like a plan for what edits you're going to make. B, to build in that reflection process, because basically what makes something our favorite song isn't like just if it's technically perfect, it's that it like works in some abstract aesthetic way.
Right.
So like and it doesn't have to be, like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to like, you have to sit with it and live with it and just be like, yeah, that's tight. You know? So yeah, so in terms of kind of countering that tendency to overwork, or like to keep pulling at loose threads. I found that, hey, make decisions quickly, move on to the next thing. B, it's kind of a nice thing about having a group workflow.
Yeah.
Then you get kind of the dialogue effect, I've made this thing, I send it to my bandmate, they do their thing on it. And so it moves it forward. Of course, you can play volleyball all day with it, so you have to at some point be like, no, we're not. But just having kind of that.
Keeping it more engaged, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. You guys know like King Tubby, like the dub guy.
I think so.
Legend.
He sounds familiar.
So so he is a dub pioneer, and I hope this is a King Tubby anecdote and not the other. I'm gonna sound like a fool if I'm doing this wrong. I'm going in no notes, and I'm kind of just going tip of the tongue. But he would always he would do he'd get rituals and stuff, and this is in reggae and stuff, so there'd be some cannabis involved stuff going on as well.
Yeah.
But there's about the ritualization of music that's important for us as humans, So if you can have rituals around your production process, that helps you get in that mindset where you're not in this heady frontal cortex, really judgmental mind. You're in just vibe.
Yeah. Okay.
To see if it works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people always say test the mix in your car and stuff. I'm not a mixer. I don't try to be a mixer. I don't have that kind of doing mixing myself. I would always be in this situation, but I'd probably err in being in I get frustrated and I just do something punky.
Yeah.
Then I would tediously go over and over it. But I get so just impatient doing mixing.
I'm the same way. I produce all my music, and right now I'm producing his album as well. Evan's got an album that we were just working on yesterday. One of his songs. It was my first time actually producing inside of in here actually in my apartment, in a live setting. And I usually mix all my stuff, but I would rather have somebody else take on the mixing process, because I don't know what I'm doing. I hope that I know what I'm doing to make it sound good, and it becomes really frustrating at one point where I've done everything, I don't know what else to do to make it good.
It's good to know mixing so you can communicate with a mix engineer.
Yeah.
But the psychology, it's different. There's writing. It's one psychology you need to develop to do. There's performing. That's a different psychology you need to develop.
Absolutely, yeah.
Mixing is another one. And then, of course, branding and marketing and all that.
Yeah, another one. But all part of the pie, yeah.
Social media mentality.
And how do you feel you've tackled those different aspects of the performing side, the songwriting side, and as you stated already?
I do tackle. Run like hell. Social media and
the mixing. Yeah.
Those ones are too much. Those ones just make me totally deer in the headlights. On Instagram, I'm trying to post more and promote.
Right.
But also you can't just promote. You have to be genuine, and that's a total mind fuck for me, because it's I genuinely need to promote my shit.
Yeah.
But I also don't want to just be spamming it.
Yeah.
So social media will totally shut me down.
Right.
But I will so we'll go away from that. There's plenty of people who talk about that. Performance mindset. So we were just talking about songwriting.
Yeah.
Songwriting is all about make your decision, follow it through the ending.
And if we could just talk about that for a second, I'm actually curious how you mentioned earlier that you like to improvise quite a bit, and I have a similar mindset. I love improvising, and it's one of my favorite things to do musically. How does that incorporate in, I guess, your own songwriting? Do you find that it's easiest for you to improvise for a while and then just let something naturally come and you're like, oh, that's a cool idea?
Yeah. So the way I approach songwriting, so improvisation, there's like levels to it. There's there's complete free improvisation, where you're just like doing the classical term, like a fantasy. I love playing like these fantasias where I just go and I just connect it stream of consciousness. That's cool, but like it kind of maybe loses people's attention because there's not enough structure to it. So then, and of course there's like structured improvisation where you're playing over changes, you're playing a tune people know, and that could be just like contrafactual, or you're just shredding over the changes, or you're just adding embellishments. I like Anthony Braxton. He's like a very avant-garde jazz saxophonist. Challenging listening, but he like made these like oh man, I forget what the categories of improvisation will say, and it's like all the way from just like slight little changes to just completely free sound making, not even worrying about tonality or anything. So like he has these different tiers of it, so anyway, so like with songwriting, yes, I use improvisation as a way of like channeling the muses, so to speak. But with songwriting, I view it as trying to arrive at a structure. And particularly like when I'm writing songs, I'm generally writing for well, okay, so there's just two things. I write a lot of just like dance, rock, and pop. Like those are most of the songs I've written have been for this purpose, where it's like a band that's going to make people dance is the idea of it with the writing.
Right.
And so in that lane, I'm more concerned about having a groove, having hooks, and then not worried about making it super novel in terms of the harmonies or the changes, but also making sure that there's enough subverted expectations that it's not boring. Like making sure that there's like edges to it, I like to lead with the physicality. So whether that's the physicality of playing and like whatever I play, I like try to chop into a loop and turn into a thing, or the imagined physicality of like dancers and like how are people's bodies going to respond to this. So that's on the musical side of it. On the lyrical side of it, I don't know.
Yeah, I usually come second for me as well. Yeah.
Like I think that at one point I made an attempt to be like a lyricist. Now I find that attempt to be embarrassing, so I haven't written any words in a while. Though I do think I do a better job of it now than I did before, so
Right.
I kind of do want to revisit it. But well, I guess in a similar way, the way I would approach lyricism when it was successful to me was to have the band playing the song and then freestyle verses, get choruses that work that people can sing along with, and then like listen back to the voicemail and be like, what did I say? And all it was these blah 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 blah,
Yeah.
fake words, and then we're just like turning that into real words. But I like that approach, like just being real, like we'll just take whatever vowels, turn those into real words.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you get like, I find like I get like weird, colorful images and stuff out of the text, because it's kind of like being noise generated, but like I feel ownership of it because it's actually me doing it, not like not just like a random number generator.
Absolutely.
Oh, I do the same thing for a songwriting process. I usually, funny enough that you mentioned about like, the physical things of what you would want to play, and then or just like even like what you would want others to feel. I take me and Yoshi, because we kind of like similar music. I told him, hey, let's make a playlist together on Spotify, a collaborative playlist, so that I can get introduced to more sounds. Ideally, when I made this like first band, this little rock band project, it was to kind of get my visions of like, this is what I would be playing kind of stuff. But also, yeah, I want people to have a certain reaction to music. I want to influence their feelings. And this, we just had our first show, which was on Friday, which was, for me, it was a complete success, which we'll talk about in a different podcast. But the main thing was, yeah, thank you very much. Everything was like turned out to be as good as it could. But obviously, there was huge other amounts of problems that we're going to talk about later. But the main thing is, for my band meeting that's happening tomorrow. But the main thing is, I did this little experiment of like what actually got people to dance, what actually got people to work and all that stuff, and I got to see it again as a fresh perspective to a younger audience, instead of like what I had in my playlist kind of set up for. It was more of a bar kind of setting, more of a adult kind of thing. So it was interesting to see my own experience to there, but unfortunately didn't get to play my only single that I wrote for that one band. Which I will, which it's out on Spotify and everything, but our time was like totally stupid, and we just got screwed over by the venue. But I guess it just tends to happen. We played at Rudy's Bar and Grill. Yeah,
it was location in White Bear, if you know where that is.
Yeah, White Bear Lake. It's like a Perkins, but like better.
I wouldn't compare it to a Perkins.
All right, like Olive Garden, but like in the same tier as Olive Garden.
That makes me think of that. What the fuck's up, Denny?
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of how we were at. I just came on stage like, we're the Skeleton Crew, ready to fuck, and then like we just started playing. we were like just no fucks given. But no. Exactly to your point. I wrote a song called 7 or 11 to influence that kind of like people's minds of like dancing. I want people to dance. I want them to have fun. And I wrote the song all about like experiencing youth. And unfortunately I didn't get to play it, but that would have been the time to like experiment that time. Yeah.
So you said you were playing last.
No, I opened, but like the venue just kept pushing us back and like, hey, can you do your sound check 30 minutes later? Oh, and can you actually not play until like 30 minutes after that? And it's like, what?
Was there like was this one of the promoter guys got you in this, or would you book directly with the venue?
Oh no, I was not booked directly with the venue. I believe it was one of our friend's birthday party, and I believe our friend just got her that place that just to celebrate a birthday. Yeah, okay. We were more on the back end, and to me, like I usually, if I wanted to get more into other venues and stuff later, like go explore everything in Minneapolis, because as we talked about before, that's where the scene's at. This was just kind of like we were just happy to play just our first live set and just see how it went. But no, we had no control over any of that stuff.
Yeah, I think now, like, admittedly, I don't know where the spots are at right now in Minneapolis, because like I've been gone for a couple of years, and also COVID really shuffled the deck. I don't know
absolutely
who is functional, who is doing what.
See, I used to play like 10 years ago, and ever since my band, like from a long time ago, we're all the other connections are gone, and there's just like different things happening now. And like you said, COVID, I did talk to someone that was able to get me in the right footing, and I don't know how easy it was for you to just start making connections, but for me, last month completely changed my entire life. Like in terms of like meeting people, meeting different artists, and obviously meeting you as well just today, like getting to talk to you. But like, yeah, like meeting connections to move forward.
Good job, like reaching out. Like that's critical. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, I guess like I am fairly introverted, but
right.
I like make good friends with the people I'm playing music with, and like people, like people I work with and stuff. So I'm, like I kind of just been more of a go with the flow person rather than like a network person. But you need to have your network people. There needs to be a balance here. Because like if I like that's kind of the thing since I've been in LA. Like, you know, I've got Maraschino, but it's like I don't have. It's like I haven't been around as many air signs, for lack of a better way of saying it. And like, yeah. So I always think of myself as like I'm a tinkerer. I like just work on things, and I do like being. I like being on stage. I enjoy that a lot. Going back to like performance psychology stuff, but I do get a lot of anxiety around just crowded rooms, parties, and stuff. Like I just feel pretty overwhelmed in that situation.
I guess.
So like I kind of I have benefited by having friends who do okay with that, and like just being really not. But then also, you know, I always would just hit up venues, see who could give me a night, and then try to put it together. Yeah. I mean, it took a while. Because so like right after high school, you know, you have like a built-in following, just a little bit. Like you've got your high school friends. We're like in high school, and then
Right. Yeah.
your high school friends will come to your show. But then the novelty of that wears off. You're not that good, and they stop coming, and you have to get better. And then so there was a kind of a dry spell there, and like we were really not that good. We were really relying on the high school friends. But then, like when I got in with NJ, we kind of started. Well, first off, having a way better show that helped. Just having like there was a show, and the secret to its success was that everyone involved was an ace at their given lane. It was just like, wow, I was playing keys and doing production, Andrew was doing songwriting and overall orchestrating this event. We had dancers, we had singers, and it was all like, everyone was fucking good. And like that was like cutting butter. And so then like at that point, I felt like then I could start mounting my own shows, and people we kind of started having a little scene going on. So then, but I think that's kind of the thing, is like, especially talking about operating out of Minneapolis, it's a great, like, so there is some ceilings to what you can do with original music if you don't tour, you don't get big, because your money comes from nowadays touring. Like,
Right.
I mean, you can get some record sales, but you sell most of your records on tour. Otherwise, people aren't buying an actual record; they're just listening to it on Spotify.
Right.
So, but the local game is important too, because that's how you like hone your thing. You know, you can like win over like a weekly night, and you're making connections and stuff. Yeah, like you gotta have your little following. But it's tricky because if you play too much, people are gonna be like, yeah, they're playing too much.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. What's in the next few years, what do you see yourself like ideally doing, or kind of like aspirations musically? Are you still wanting to perform, or just like on occasion? What do you see yourself wanting to do?
A lot more. What I want to not do by the time I'm 40 is get into a van. I'd like sleep on so, but I'm still like, I'm about to turn 30. Jesus.
Yeah, I'm the same.
But yeah, like, all of a sudden,
Yeah.
that Bo Burnham thing. But and we got robbed of a couple of last years of our 20s here, right?
Yeah.
It's like wow. Oh, okay. All of a sudden, I'm like totally 30-year-old domestic life, cooking and shit.
Yeah.
So I do want to tour still for the next decade, like on and off. Tour's brutal. but I feel like I know what to expect more, and I know how to do it better. And I like playing shows a lot, but I do kind of see like going into middle age, I don't want to be getting into a van like 4 times a year.
Right.
Like I want to just like I want to like my ideal thing would be like a gig like Mambo's Combo at Bunkers, where it's like every week you do it, you know, and then you know you got your lessons, your session work, your other gigs, but like you got your just bread and butter gig. That would be like, that's like how to age as a musician in my book. Like you got your, but like you gotta earn it, because like otherwise, like I said, people will be like, oh, I saw them last week.
Right.
You gotta be like, this is the shit that people are wanting to hear.
Yeah.
Every week. And those guys, of course, people want to hear it every week because it's like, that's the Minneapolis sound at this point.
Yeah.
People playing, Sunny T. I don't know, you guys been down there?
A little bit. Not recently though.
Yeah. I sing high praises. That's the spot to go.
What was it again?
Bunkers. I don't know if they've returned since. Because their guitarist, he passed away this last year. That's so sad.
Dang, yeah.
So many musicians and like so many people died.
Yeah.
It's tragic.
That's terrible, yeah.
Fucked up year.
Yeah, I feel it's been a terrible year for all of us as well. Like, I have like 3 friends that have passed away in the COVID period, and unrelated to COVID, just terrible things just happened.
Yeah.
I
mean,
horrible.
Even COVID aside, just the stress of it. And
Yeah.
everything going on. Like, I'm sorry to hear that.
It's pretty whack, yeah. That's all right. We're all doing good at the moment.
Downvotes to death.
Yeah, honestly. I agree.
Good stuff.
All right, well, we're coming up on time here, look, but...
Do you have any closing thoughts, or...
Yeah.
Any questions you guys have?
Well, I just want to know how you manage your back more than anything. How do you manage your stress level, your health, as doing all this? That's my biggest thing, because I'm slowly decaying. Well, I'm decaying a lot faster now.
That is a very good question.
Yeah, we can wrap up on that one. Yes, please.
Yeah, and this is something that like I mentioned, like in college, I started experiencing burnout, trying to do too much, and yeah, like that got me sick, yada yada. And then on that time when I was preparing for tour, like those months, I was trying to do too much, practicing, playing technically difficult things too quickly. I mean, I was being asked to play like 16th note arpeggios,
Jesus.
like on like a B flat arpeggio at like 120 BPM, 16th notes,
Oh my God.
unrelentingly, like how an arpeggio for 30 minutes.
Oh,
Whoa.
no.
Now, having studied some more about physiology and technique and stuff, I'm like, that was fucking stupid. I fucked up my wrist, like trying to do that. On top of some injuries from dominoes. But so I've been very much about like learning the remedy, and especially starting to teach how to like integrate good practices about self-care for musicians, both mental and physical, and spiritual. Music is its own spiritual food.
Right.
So particularly the mental and the physical there. Take breaks. Listen to your body when you're practicing. And also just know that like trying to do something that's too technical too quickly, there's no like glory in messing up your hands so you can't play.
Right.
Especially because then I went on tour and I was just like nursing this injury, and like I like cut doing the arpeggios, but it was kind of like I was taking an L there. Like I was like, oh yeah, I can play that, and I mean like, yeah, isolated for a short period of time, you can do some intense arpeggio, but doing that on tour where you're not really you're not like getting an adequate warm up. You're not getting an adequate night's sleep. You're just waking up and playing. There's limitations compared to what like a concert pianist has in terms of their daily regimen.
Right.
So as far as just general health, I don't know. I mean,
That's where I advise though, like taking breaks and listening to your body, just being able to make sure that have that time to breathe and not overwork the body. Even though it is easy as musicians to be addicted to our things and what we do and what we like tell ourselves we need to do, but carrying on.
I'll recommend a book actually.
Yes, please.
Professor at St. Thomas, she did research about, this is more about mental, but it's also like talking about listening to your body as well. It's called Mindful. The Mindful Musician by Dr. Vanessa Cornett-Hurtado. This one, it's all research-based about basically techniques to prevent burnout, prevent performance anxiety. We're not prevent it, but give you good coping strategies. So like, I don't know if have you guys had performance anxiety, stage fright?
At the beginning.
Early on.
Yeah.
Early on,
Yeah.
For me, like for most of my young life, I never felt it. Like I just felt adrenaline going on stage. I loved it. I lived for it. But then on tour, with all of this destabilizing, like not enough sleep, like going back to your own bed, like stuff's crazy, people are losing their minds. Then I started really, not even just performance anxiety, but just general am I going to die anxiety, which is an entirely unfounded fear, unfortunately. At that point, I really made a it was midway through tour, I was like, no, I have to establish healthier routines or I'm not going to be able to make it through this. And so I came up with this regimen, like every morning I'm going to get up a little bit before we have to be in the lobby and I'm going to do a warm-up. I'm going to bring my keyboard upstairs to the hotel room and do a warm-up. And I just nixed drinking and partying on the road at all. It just was like, no, because it's just, all it is destroying my already precarious sleep.
Right.
But yeah, so this book talks about performance anxiety, which generally kind of hits people at various ages, but generally kind of like in your 20s. And like, this is tailored also for like classical musicians who like maybe are a prodigy the whole way up, but then all of a sudden, oh man, there's a whole lot of musicians out here. Like, and it's like anxiety hits and stuff all of a sudden there.
Interesting.
It also then this is about like practice techniques and like what I said, checking in with your body.
Right.
Not just working through pain, not taking breaks. It'll make your practice more efficient too. Like if you're not just grinding, you're like being smart about it.
Yeah, that's been my biggest thing is I messed up my back so severely that I have a pinched nerve now that I've been trying to get rid of. That it's getting to the point where I just need to go see a chiropractor now. It's getting really bad, but it's because I was pushing. I'm derived by anger. I hate my life, and I want to change everything about it. I'm working. I work like 12 hours a day from like 6 to 5. I guess that's like 11 hours. Yeah. And then I come back home to my studio where I draw or I produce music or I work on something for another 5 hours after that. And I'm driven by so much hate that like I push through so much grind. And it's just my own personal thing. But because of that, I don't experience burnout, but I experience frustrations in other ways. And like, yeah, that pinched nerve. Yeah,
The stress is like going into your body.
exactly. And I've ignored it for so long. Yeah.
I think with that, I would say, yeah, you want to do, like, you want to do yoga or something, you know, like,
Mm-hmm.
release it out of your body. Like, because, like, yeah, I mean, that's a good motivating factor. Being like, fuck this job.
Yeah.
Fuck out of here.
Yeah.
That's a good, but it's like, yeah, like, if you, so I'm glad that you don't experience burnout, but, like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, just, like, it going into your body that way. Like,
Yeah.
Being able to have proper healing and releasing that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, good shit.
I got really bad during COVID.
Yeah.
We've had our couple weeks. We started doing yoga, working out again, and
Uh-huh.
stopped, and we just sort of like watching TV.
Yeah. There's a lot of good TV out right now too. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we almost ran out of TV there.
Yeah.
It's like, wow.
I was getting close.
Kind of ran out of all the shows.
Yeah.
Well, at least all the shows that me and my girlfriend both want to watch.
Mm.
We got our individual tastes too.
Right. Well, fantastic. Luke, it has been an honor just talking to you and just getting your whole input of your whole music career and just getting to know you. I wish that we could be there with you so we could like perform some stuff together, make some music together. Maybe in the future, I'm really looking, up to you, as like someone that has been through what I would want to do and like touring and all that kind of stuff. So yeah.
That's really nice.
It's been incredible being able to talk to you. Yeah, I found our conversation insightful. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah. Cool. Is it cool if I do a plug really quick?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, well we're gonna plug up everything that you have. So your Instagram, whatever you want to say, this is all you.
Yeah. So I was just gonna put in the plug, like, I on Discord on Thursdays
Mhm.
at 6 p.m. Pacific, I do a piano workshop. It's a donation based. It's just pretty much for adults who are busy, who just want to learn stuff or just talk about music stuff that they're working on.
Mhm.
So it's kind of like office hours. So I just do that every Thursday. And yeah, anyone is welcome to come to it.
6 Pacific Standard Time, or no, say it would be
Standard time, so 8 Central.
yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. I will actually make that as well a part of the description as well. Everything else. Was there anything else that you want to put out there?
Yeah. No, I don't have any other.
Do you have any music?
That's my plug.
Yeah.
Otherwise, be excellent.
Like Arturo said, do you have any currently released music?
Yeah, I've got an EP from a couple of years ago out under Loop Deluxe.
Right.
And then, like I said, NJ's new record I helped produce. His new single's coming out November 3rd.
Right.
That'll be on Spotify. And I'll have some Twin Cities shows. I don't have anything to announce about that, though.
Sure.
Wonderful.
Well, I'll be after this. I'm just gonna get all that information from you, and for right now, thank you again for reaching out, Luke, and thank you for having just a little bit of time just to talk to us. It's been an honor.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yes, of course. We'll see you later.